Lulu was a prostitute, but she didn't want her grandma to know. One day, the police raided the joint and took all the girls outside and made them line up. By chance, Lulu's grandma came by. Grandma asked, "Why are you standing in line here, dear?" Not willing to let her grandma know the truth, Lulu told her that the police were passing out free oranges, and she was just lining up for some. "Why, that's awfully nice of them. I think I'll get some for myself," Grandma said, and she proceeded to the back of the line. A policeman was going down the line asking for information from all the prostitutes. When he got to Grandma, he was bewildered and exclaimed, "Wow, still going at it at your age? How do you do it, old girl?" Grandma replied, "Oh, it's easy, dear. I just take my dentures out, rip the skin back, and suck them dry." A man brought home a robot. His wife asks, "What's with the robot?" "This isn't an ordinary robot. This one is a lie detector as well. Let's test it out on our boy." Their son arrived home late, and the usual questions start. "Where have you been, young man?" At the library. "I was studying." The robot's eyes lit up and it slaps the boy. Okay. I was at a friend's place, but we were studying." The robot slaps him again. Okay. We were watching porn." "I'm a tad disappointed, son," replies the father. "I wasn't preoccupied with nonsense like that at your age." Smack. The father gets one too. His wife chuckles and says, "He's your son, all right." Smack! A lawyer boarded an airplane in New Orleans with a box of frozen crabs and asked the flight attendant to take care of them for him. She took the box and promised to put it in the crew's refrigerator. He advised her that he was holding her personally responsible for them staying frozen, mentioning in a very haughty manner that he was a lawyer, and proceeded to rant at her about what would happen if she let them thaw out. Needless to say, she was annoyed by his behavior. Shortly before landing in New York, she used the intercom to announce to the entire cabin, "Would the lawyer who gave me the crabs in New Orleans please raise your hand?" No one's hand went up, so she took them home and ate them. Me. "What's the Wi-Fi password?" Bartender. "You need to buy a drink first." Me. "Okay, I'll have a Coke." Bartender. "Is Pepsi okay?" Me. "Sure. How much is that?" Bartender. $3. Me. "There you go. So what's the Wi-Fi password?" Bartender. "You need to buy a drink first. No spaces, all lowercase." One day at the end of class, little Johnny's teacher asked the class to go home and think of a story to be concluded with the moral of that story. The following day, the teacher asked for the first volunteer to tell their story. Little Susie raises her hand. "My dad owns a farm, and every Sunday, we load the chicken eggs on the truck and drive into town to sell them at the market. Well, one Sunday we hit a big bump, and all the eggs flew out of the basket and onto the road. When the teacher asked for the moral of the story, Susie replied, 'Don't keep all your eggs in one basket.' Little Lucy went next. 'My dad owns a farm too. Every weekend we take the chicken eggs and put them in the incubator. Last weekend, only 8 of the 12 eggs hatched.' Again, the teacher asked for the moral of the story. Lucy replied, 'Don't count your chickens before they hatch.' Next up was little Johnny. 'My Uncle Ted fought in the Vietnam War, and his plane was shot down over enemy territory. He jumped out before it crashed, but could only take a case of beer, a machine gun, and a machete. On the way down, he drank the case of beer. Then he landed right in the middle of 100 Vietnamese soldiers. He shot 70 with his machine gun, but then he ran out of bullets. So he pulled out his machete and killed 20 more. Then the blade on his machete broke, so he killed the last 10 with his bare hands.' The teacher looked a little shocked. After clearing her throat, she asked what possible moral there could be to this story. 'Well,' Johnny replied, 'don't mess with Uncle Ted when he's been drinking.' Professor X asks a girl, 'What is your mutant power?' The girl replies, 'I can guess how many pulls to turn a ceiling fan off on the first try.' She points up and says, 3 pulls. Professor X stands up and pulls 3 times. After the 3rd pull, the fan turns off. Professor X. 'Yeah, that's cool and all, but not really a superpower.' Girl. 'Yeah, I was just kidding. I can heal paraplegics.' Professor X, still standing, 'Oh my gosh.' This stoner finds a genie in a bottle on the beach. 3 wishes, the genie says. First wish, the stoner grins, 'Let's smoke a joint.' They do. Then, second wish, 'Let's smoke another.' They do. For the 3rd wish, he says, 'Let's smoke one more.' The genie, looking concerned, says, 'Are you sure? You have only 1 wish left.' 'Yeah, man, I'm sure,' the stoner replies. They smoke, and the genie goes back in the bottle. A little while later, the genie comes out of the bottle and says, 'All right, what's your 4th wish?'